Hi, my name is John Paul Raj, and I'm on a mission to make the learning of math fun. So, if you're new to this channel, please do consider subscribing. On this particular video, we're going to talk about how to use the formula for the nth term of a geometric sequence to solve a question where you need to find the value of n. Let's start. The third and seventh term of a geometric sequence are 3 by 4 and 12 respectively. I always encourage students to first write down what kind of sequence it is because each sequence has its own formula for the general term. It makes sense. It's a good habit to write these answers in a nice organized fashion. So write down this is a GP, geometric progression. Progression is just another word for sequence. And we are given that U3, the third term, is 3 by 4. And you're given the seventh term, U7, is 12. All right, and they asked us to find out the 10th term. All right, that's the first part. And the second part is what term is equal to 3072. That means you're finding the value of n. Let's go one step at a time. U3 is 3 by 4. So let's make use of that formula. The general term says, the formula for the general term is Un is a times r to the power of n minus 1. We don't know the common ratio. We don't know r. We don't know a. We're just given these values, the third term and the seventh term. Let's see how to go about it, all right? So we say a times r to the power of n minus 1. When n is 3, n minus 1 is going to be 2. So a times r square is going to be equal to 3 by 4. Okay? Now, when n is 7, so let's use another color for that perhaps. When n is 7, you're getting the seventh term, right? So that's going to be, that will give us a times r to the power of 6. N minus 1 is going to be 6. And that's going to be equal to 12. So these two equations we've got from what is given. This represents the third term and this represents the seventh term. Okay, now what do? We can divide these two equations. So if we call this equation number 1 and if we call this as equation number 2 and then write down dividing equation 2 by 1. You can even do the other way around, but that doesn't matter. Okay, so you can say a times r to the power of 6 a times r to the power of 2 should be equal to 12 divided by 3 by 4. It's basically dividing the left-hand side of equation 2 to the left-hand side of equation 1 and the right-hand side of equation 2 to the right-hand side of equation 1. That's basic algebra, okay? And then we can cancel off this a, and that r to the power of 6 divided by r squared will give us r to the power of 4. And the right-hand side we have 12 divided by 1 times 4 divided by 3, which should reduce to, this is 3, 4, r to the power of 4 is going to be equal to a 16, which then means that r can either be a positive or a negative 2. All right, 2 to the power of 4 is a 16 and negative 2 to the power of 4 is also 16. And we already said that the common ratio can be positive or negative. So there are two possibilities for r, but we are asked to find the 10th term. Remember, we were asked to find the 10th term and we don't know the value of a. So we're going to use this equation a times r square. We'll make use of the first equation, a times r square is 3 by 4. And using both the values of r, we can find out the value of a. So we say substituting in equation 1 was a times r square is equal to 3 by 4. And whether r is positive 2 or negative 2, r square is going to be equal to 4. It's a positive value, right? So we can say a times 4 is going to be equal to 3 by 4, which when you simplify, you'll get a, the value of a as 3 over 16. So now you have the value of a as 3 over 16. You got two values for r, and then using this value of a and these two values for r, we're going to get two different values for the 10th term. So when n is equal to 10, n minus 1 is going to be equal to 9, which means the odd power of a negative number is going to be negative, right? So let's write it this way. When r is equal to 2. Let's do the positive value of r first. When r is equal to 2, u10, the 10th term, is going to be a, which is 3 over 16, times r2 to the power of a 9, which will be 3 over 16 times, I calculated this already, it's going to be 512. 2 to the power of 9 is 512. This can be further simplified as 16, and this is 32, which means that the value of the 10th term is going to be equal to a 96 when the value of r is a positive 2. Let's do the same thing for r equals negative 2. Can you see this? All right, when r is equal to negative 2, it's just going to be equal to a negative 96, but I'll just show it again because you need to show the substitution, all right? So you can say u10 is going to be equal to a 3 over 16, negative 2 this time to the power of a 9, and that will reduce it to a negative 96, all right? So we have two different values for the 10th term. The 10th term is negative 96 when the value of r is a negative 2, and the value of the 10th term is 96, positive 96, when the value of r is a positive 2. So that completes the first part of the question, says find the 10th term. The second part of the question was to find the term, what term is equal to 3072, which means we're looking for n, the value of n when un is equal to 3072. Let's solve it that way. Okay, with that approach, we can say that un is equal to a 3072, and you're required to find out what term in the value of n, which term is equal to 3072. Let's use the same formula. So we've got a times r to the power of n minus 1 is equal to 3072, and that is what we are going to solve for n. We have already found the value of a as 3 over 16, and the value of r is plus 2 and minus 2. I'm going to do it for plus 2, and r is equal to minus 2 is homework. Yes, there is homework. Okay, so you got to try it out for homework. So I'm going to say when r equals positive 2 and a is a 3 over 16, you will solve this as a is a 3 over 16 times r, which is 2, n minus 1, we are solving for n, is 3072. Okay, which means you're going to get 2 to the power of n minus 1 equals 3072 times a 16 over a 3. Now this can be reduced. You can cancel a factor of 3 from the numerator and the denominator. This will be 1024. And then when you multiply 1024 by 16, you're going to get 16384. I had already done this multiplication and kept so that, the video will not get too long, just to show multiplication. And you can then figure out what power of 2 is going to be 16384. Just by doing simple prime decomposition, you can find out that it's actually the 14th power of 2 that will give you 16384. Okay, which means when you compare both sides now, you're going to get 2 to the power of n minus 1 is equal to 2 to the power of 14, which means that n minus 1 is equal to 14, giving you n must be equal to 15. So which term of the sequence is going to be equal to 3072? Well, we just saw that it is the 15th term of this geometric sequence is going to be equal to 3072. Okay, they asked that question, which term is equal to 3072? And all that they've given us was the third term and the seventh term, and we made use of this formula for the general term. All right, they had not given us the value of a, they didn't give us the value of r. What do? We wrote down two equations using the formula for the general term, the third term and the seventh term, and then dividing the two equations. All right, we found out the value of r. We had two different values of r, and then using the two different values of r, we found out the two different values of the 10th term. Well, that doesn't relate to this part of the question. And after finding the value of a and r, we plugged those values into the formula for the general term again, equating it to that 3072, or whichever term you're looking for. Okay, now this is only when r is equal to 2. I've already assigned for homework. You have to find out what will happen when r is equal to negative 2. Okay, that you have to do it on your own. And then after you substitute the value of a and r into that expression for the general term, equating it to the value of 3072, it's all about algebra, cancelling some common factors. And this is important, okay, knowing some prime decomposition. Okay, that will really help how to identify the value of the index. Okay, so after having done that, you can compare the indices on the two sides. N minus 1 is equal to 14, giving us n is equal to 15. If you found this video useful, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. I'm going to see you all in the next video.